Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to watch this clip of Mosab Hassan Yusef, also known as the son of Hamas, detailing, the attacks he's been under and how they call him Islamophobic. And it's absolutely disgusting because he grew up in that culture. He understands exactly what he's criticizing, and therefore it gives him license to do that. Also, why he left that culture with Jordan Peterson. Check it out.
And now I'm labeled Islamophobe. What Islamophobe? I'm confronting this thing and I'm willing to die in its pursuit because there is no other way. Only the truth can set people free. Only the truth. The same thing with Palestine. It totally depends on the destruction of Israel in order for us to see what Palestine is. And the manifestation of Palestine requires the destruction of Israel. Same thing with the Islamic State. It requires the destruction of civilization, all civilizations combined, in order to achieve this global state called Khilafah. But we don't know how it is going to look like then. So we have first to die for them to live, then they can prove themselves. If there is anything that defines madness, this is madness. But
so you were hurt very badly when you were very young, and then you lived through the Intifada, and you were right beside the graveyard, and you decided that you're going to confront death relatively directly and overcome your fear of it. You were doing some religious experimentation really at the same time then. You said that you were testing out this hypothesis that there was torture in the grave. You did that alone because your friends wouldn't come along with you, which is like hardly surprising. So you said that you also decided with regards to being raped that the proper response to that wasn't to go after the person specifically who was responsible, but to go after something deeper than that, which was the belief system that gave rise to this problem. All right, so now you're 13. Are these ideas already in your imagination? Like when do you start when was it that you started sorting this out?
Some of them were in the form of feelings, just a gut feeling. I did not have the means to express them, but I knew them. It was not coincidental that I could not tell my own father about this situation, but later on I knew that my punishment is death. So today I have the power to express myself. I didn't know everything at that time, but believe it or not, I felt it. That this society cannot be trusted. And this is why today when I stand and I tell the world, anyone who identifies as a Muslim, I consider them as a threat. I don't trust them. And people say, oh, you cannot generalize. This is like insane what you say. No, it's not insane. Because their belief system has sentenced me to death many times for crimes that I haven't committed. Then you pause as a Muslim, you carry that identity. How am I supposed to feel towards you? It's like coming to a Jewish refugee during the Nazi era and say, I am a Nazi, come with me, I'm not gonna hurt you. No, you're taking the identity of a Nazi regime. And whether you are the bad cop or the good cop, it doesn't matter. You are serving the same establishment. And I'm tired of this moderate versus extremist. Every individual has the responsibility to know what they are identifying with. My individuality is above all religions and above all gods. I don't accept to just take a label for myself, not knowing what I'm getting myself involved into, because only my parents pushed that religious identity on me. And if I am at that level of consciousness, then how can I trust you with anything? I cannot trust you with my woman. I cannot trust you with my property. I cannot trust you with my money. I cannot trust you being even close to me. Because you don't qualify. You don't know your individuality. You are unpredictable. You can be friendly now, but 5 minutes later you can be a part of a crowd and you are going to show me your tusks. You might bite me. So then I have a problem. Okay,
What do you make of moves on the part of countries like the UAE and the other countries that are involved in the Abraham Accords, let's say, because that it looks to me like that's a pathway forward much different than the pathway laid out in Iran that holds out the possibility of something like a rapprochement between, let's say, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Do you see any hope on that side of things?
Yes. With the statement that I made, this is my fundamental stand. I don't compromise this truth. And I don't respect anyone who identify themselves as a Muslim in principle. Because why? Okay. This is my fundamental stand because I aim to reform a generation. I need people to get out of their cave of delusion and think for themselves. Like, for example, I don't have a problem with the Sufis, and I don't have a problem actually with Muslims who don't pose as Muslims. They don't have to bring their religious identity as they are entitled to something. They want to intimidate or maybe tempt me with something. Sincere, devotional people don't need a religious identity at all. And those exist in the Arab and the Muslim world. But also hypocrisy is the other side of the coin.
I just did a seminar on the Gospels with some scholars, the same group that I walked through the story of Exodus with. You know, we spent 20 hours going through the Gospel accounts, and the biggest enemies of Christ are the religious hypocrites. That's the Pharisees in that story. And they're people who proclaim allegiance to God while acting in their own service, right? The deepest of all possible sins, right? To invert the moral order so that you serve yourself while claiming to serve what's properly put in the highest place, right? And there's no shortage of religious hypocrisy, and I think it is the worst of all possible sins because it inverts the cosmic order, right? It makes everything good subservient to what it is that you want, and that can be, obviously that's a problem faced by any religious system, because any religious system can become overrun with hypocrites. But that's really what you're pointing to, is the distinction between hypocrisy and... It says in the Gospels that you shouldn't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And what that really means is that it's something like practice your devotion in solitude and secrecy and don't trumpet it. Don't make a show of it. The activists in the West are exactly the same sort of people, right? They're wearing their morality on a stick. Look how good I am because I'm on the right side. Has nothing to do with them organizing their lives in any sense of the word. All they have to do is proclaim allegiance to the victim, and they're on the top of the moral order, regardless of who they have to crawl in bed with to manage that particular stunt, which is what we're seeing everywhere in the West at the moment, after October 7th, obviously.
And all this moral decay, of course, there's in common. It's a human condition. You know, this is why we're saying if we want to see the new man, if we want to integrate to a higher state of consciousness, then we need to drop this political correctness. What's the difference? It's the same thing. It's the same game.
Yeah.
You know, I was born in that
That's
belief.
why they end up on the same side.
And I was born in that belief, like at least when it comes to me. I don't have the right to criticize my own belief system. And if I do, it becomes hateful speech. Who says this? Is this my birthright to rebel and to criticize? This is what makes us superior to animals.
All right. Very, very poignant words there from Mosab Hassan Yusef. Again, Islam is not a race. It's not a something you're born into. It is actually, a religion, and therefore subject to criticism based on the ideas, based on the principles, based on the tenets of Islam, and the actions of its followers. So, this idea that somebody born into that culture not being able to criticize the Gazans for doing different things is insane. Israelis can criticize the Israeli government or even, other Israeli people. Therefore, other Gazans should be able to criticize Gazan society as well as Gazan leadership. For more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. Also, check out our channel memberships. We're releasing a lot of exclusive content there, so check us out there as well. Thank you, and have a good one.